Jim Morrison and the Doors, Rock of Ages. Written by Geoffrey Giuliano. Narrated by Chris Christopherson.
I hope at about age 120 with a sense of humor and a nice, comfortable bed. No, I wouldn't want anybody around. I just want to quietly drift off. I think science has a chance in our lifetime to conquer death. I think it's very possible.
Well, if it did, what would happen to the spirit world?
Well, they just have to fend for themselves.
I was talking about that this weekend, thinking a lot about it. I think the two basic types of music indigenous to this country are the black music, blues, and the kind of folk music that was brought over from Europe, and I guess they call it country music, or the kind of West Virginia high and lonesome sound. That those are the two main streams of root American music. There might be others, I don't know. But it looks like, and like 10 years ago, what they called rock and roll was kind of a blending of those two forms. And I guess what's happening now is that rock is kind of dying out, and everyone is going back to the roots again. Some are going back into country, and some are going back into basic blues. I guess in 4 or 5 years, the new generation's music will be, it'll have a synthesis of those two elements and some third thing. It'll be entirely, maybe it'll be, it might rely heavily on electronics, tapes. I can kind of envision maybe one person with a lot of machines, tapes, and electronic setups, singing or speaking and using machines.
He was called the Lizard King, a superstar, a god, and an ordinary man. I'm Chris Christopherson, and this is a search for the real Jim Morrison, in the words and voices of the people who knew him best.
The Jim Morrison that I knew was a thoughtful, intelligent, articulate, even when drunk, well-behaved guy. He wasn't what everybody said he was, to me. However, I found out there were several other Jim Morrisons.
He was kind of a normal guy, but at times he would have kind of go into these rages and, for no reason and stuff, and I thought that was a little weird, but he was a cool guy, we used to hang out and do the normal kind of things,
Yeah, he was shy. To me, he was like friendly, fun to be with, but a little rowdy, a little collegiate fraternity rowdy, sort of. Quickly changed.
Jim was like a chameleon, and he grew up in a military family and grew up a lot in the South, so he was totally charming to women that he wanted to be charming to. He had all the civility of a Southern gentleman. He would hold the door, he would stand before a woman so that the woman could sit first. He would do all those kinds of things that drove the rest of us crazy, but women adored that.
When he was his normal self, which wasn't too often, he was like the nicest guy you would ever want to meet. He was really super polite, great manners, and, real smart and great conversationalist, And then the other side of him would come out,
None of us thought of Jim as a rock star. He seemed sort of quiet and shy and intelligent, very intense, but a rock star, no.
James Douglas Morrison was born on December 8, 1943, into a military family who moved across the USA from naval base to naval base, with young Jim reinventing himself in every new town he called home. He discovered literature and alcohol in high school
Sample complete. Ready to continue?